strength workout, baby. The goal is the 1,000 pound club using deadlift, squat, and bench press. I feel like I need a little bit of a down week this week, so I'm not going super hard in the paint, trying to push the weights too much, just trying to get in here, get some reps in, and just feel good afterwards. I don't like taking full rest days most of the time because I generally feel like crap if I don't work out. I just feel sluggish and a little bit more moody, I guess, which is kind of pathetic, but it is what it is for now. So I would rather just get in the gym and do something. I think you can work around recovery most of the time, unless you're just injured in a way where you can't do a lift, or if you are doing serious hypertrophy training, then you probably just, you got to let your muscles recover. So going a little bit easy today, hopefully get back to pushing things, trying to push the new PRs here soon, but just a little worn out, so need the break. I will also be sharing ways that I think are good in order to help stick with working out if it's something that you're struggling with. These are things that I did that definitely made it to where I worked out consistently for 5 years now. Before that, I was the kind of person that I'd work out for 2 months and then quit for 3, and then back and forth, and I did that for probably a decade. So stick around for that. Most of the time in these strength workouts, I warm up to my 1 rep max and then go down from there. But I'm just starting with 3 sets of 3 today. I'm trying to be super explosive. These are the ones where you build the strength. If you're trying to build strength, you don't necessarily want to go to fatigue. That's going to build more size than strength. So I'm just trying to make these explosive as I can while using good form. Funny enough, the thing that got me consistently working out was buying pre and post workout, but not necessarily for the reasons you think it would be. It was just because I was putting money into it. Back then, when 5-6 years ago, I was pretty broke, didn't have a whole lot of money, just lost a job, all that good stuff. So before that, I was thinking, I don't need to spend money on that. I don't even know if it works, blah, blah, blah. I'd rather just save the money or now invest the money. And of course, it's nice to get the buzz and the benefits of having a pre-workout before you start your workout. And post-workout did make a big difference in recovery to me. I did notice that I stayed sore for a less amount of time than I did before taking the pre-workout. For a frugal guy like me, it was the fact that I was spending the money on this stuff, because I started spending probably $100 a month on supplements, and that was a lot of money for me at the time. So I would drink the pre-workout because I like the taste of it, and I do like the way that it makes me feel. And that was like a baby step into making sure that I would work out, because we all know how daunting it can be to actually go and do a hard workout or any type of workout. Sometimes you're just low energy and don't feel like doing it. But taking that baby step to get into the workout made a huge difference. And then when I would drink it, I would be like, okay, there's no way I can't work out today because I've spent the money on this. I have to go work out. So that was a weirdly unexpected way that I was able to consistently start working out. All right, I've got the lighter weights on for the deadlift now. One thing I like about the lighter weights is because I'm still relatively new to really pushing myself in strength training, really trying to get new PRs, I feel like I'm still trying to lock in my form. So the lighter reps allow you to be more explosive while also being able to pay a little bit more attention to where you might be over-shifting or over-rotating in some of these things. So I really like doing the light reps for that. Dancing with the devil in the pale moonlight. dancing with it. Grip strength training. If you suck with your grip strength like I do, then just hold this for a little bit when you're at the end. Oh! But don't drop it if you're on the second floor of your house like I am. Okay, moving on to rows, but before I do that, I will share another personal tip of workout success. The second thing for me was actually buying a program. I did do P90X back in the day, but that one's a lot of dedication for someone that's just trying to develop good habits in the gym. Some of those, like the yoga workout in that program was like an hour and a half long. It's just, I didn't want to do yoga for an hour and a half, so I was bouncing around with that one, doing it inconsistently. But I got some programs that were a little bit more beginner friendly. The specific one I got was the Athlete X program, AX1. So the workouts were a little bit shorter, or a lot shorter in some cases, and removing the thinking side of exercise made a big part. It was just show up and do what you're told to do. And I don't think people realize the amount of mental exertion that can go into making choices sometimes. Sometimes if you're just trying to decide what you want for dinner, it can be exhausting because you spend 30 minutes thinking about it sometimes and you just don't know what the freak you want. So I think people really underestimate the amount of energy that can be saved just by not having to make the decision after the first time. I bought this program, I'm going to do it for 3 months, and I'm just going to do what I'm supposed to do when he tells me to do it. So if you're working out willy-nilly, just doing what you feel, and you're a beginner, I don't recommend that. I definitely recommend getting some sort of program and something that you can kind of turn off your brain to and just do the best that you can with. Made a big difference for me. Another big thing for me was just making everything easier, and by that I mean not having to go to a gym, because if I had to go to a gym that was even as far as 10 minutes away and go work out with a bunch of people, because I'm kind of antisocial, so I'd much prefer just to work out by myself. But if I had to rely on going to do that, there's no way I would have been able to consistently work out for as long as I have the past 5-6 years. For me personally, the energy required to have to go do that would have been substantial, and I would have been tired before the workout because I don't like being around other people most of the time. So building this home gym that I have now took me a long time. It would have taken me less time if I really had dedicated myself to it. But the way I did it was I would buy a piece of equipment and use it to where either I kind of got bored with it, which took a decent amount of time. It's not like I was just getting bored every couple days. You know, if I got a pull-up bar, I would learn how to do pull-ups and how to get better at pull-ups for a significant amount of time before I would get something else. Or I would use it until it started losing some of its function. I've got these Bowflex dumbbells, adjustable ones in the corner that you can see over here, and I've had these for probably somewhere around 20 years at this point. And when I started getting more serious into weightlifting, it just got to a point where, you know, I'm not going to make any progress with dumbbell press if I'm using 52.5 pounds. So then I got these power blocks that you'll see me use in the videos occasionally. And these were like $700, I think, but they go up to 90 pounds, and that was a big difference. I was able to do a lot more dumbbell bench press with those and make some results. And I didn't even get the bench that I have until later on. I was actually just using this yoga ball, and I would do dumbbell bench press or dumbbell yoga ball press, I guess, on this thing. So just making it easier on myself, just giving myself access to the tools that work for me and not having to leave my house was a huge reason I've been able to work out consistently for 6 years now. I'm definitely still working on my barbell row form. I normally use dumbbells, or for most of my weightlifting lifetime, I've used dumbbells, and to me it just feels a lot more natural to engage the lats with, or more of the back that I'm targeting, with a neutral grip than it does a barbell grip. So I probably should be using lighter weight. I definitely feel like I'm shrugging the shoulders too much when I'm down here, which is not something you want to do. You want to keep the shoulders down and back, but hey, we're learning. And the final thing that helped me stay consistent in working out that ties into the other three that I've already mentioned is just the money. If you've heard the saying before, you pay to pay attention, meaning if you're doing something for free, you're a lot less likely to be invested in it than if you're putting money into it. So the more money you put into it, the more attention that you're going to pay to it. And I think that applies to fitness as well. So I started putting money into supplements. I started putting money into programs. I didn't buy that P90X program. My dad did. I was a teenager at the time. I put money into a personal gym. And when you're thousands and thousands of dollars deep into something, you're a lot more likely to take advantage of it so you don't feel like an absolute moron for spending a bunch of money on something that you're not going to use. And again, it took me time to get to that point. I say thousands and thousands of dollars, but that's over years. You know, I was a broke bitch for a long time. Didn't know what I was doing, just bouncing around from job to job, pretty much living to paycheck to paycheck. And when I had extra money, what I would do with it was I just wouldn't work. My idea of splurging was to just take a month or two off of work and just blow through my savings. I did that before. So don't be afraid to put a little pressure on yourself. If you're trying to get serious and you've been doing it for free or very cheap to this point, put a little bit more money into it, and I promise you that you're gonna be a little bit more motivated to make sure that you show up on a regular basis. I actually did some shoulder presses yesterday, but I'm trying to increase the amount of reps and sets that I'm doing in a week because I've just plateaued so hard doing it only once, maybe twice a week. So just trying to get more in, seeing if that helps finally get past this plateau of my weak ass shoulders and my weak ass push press of 155 pounds or 65. I don't actually remember right now. Fitness is so fun though. It's such a good way to make yourself feel better on a daily basis and just be overall healthier. I also love how it parallels life in so many different ways. You know, it's simple in concept, whether you're weightlifting or running or swimming, you just show up and do something, and then the next day you just try and do a little bit more. But it's so complicated in execution sometimes. There's so many different ways that you can hurt yourself or stall and not be able to overcome it. And that applies to life in so many ways. So I think if you're beginning and you're trying to just stick with it, just be patient with yourself. Like anything else, there's going to be ups and downs, and just don't stop. Don't give up. Even if you have to go a month where all you're doing is working out like 30 minutes a week, you're still just developing the habits. You're still just doing something, and you're building that mental fortification in your mind to not let yourself bitch out, essentially. It's so hard to remember in the moment that everything is hard at some point, and the more you practice and the more you stick with it, eventually it's probably just going to become second nature and easy to you. There was a time in your life where 2 + 2 or 5 + 5 was hard. And I was homeschooled, so it's still hard for me, but for someone that's smart like you, that's not hard for you to do anymore. But you stick with something long enough, it just becomes second nature to you, and you just wake up and it's a part of your day. You don't even consider the fact that it didn't used to be. Well, that's all I got for you today. I will do some mobility work off camera, but that's it for the strength portion of what I'm doing today. I gotta work on my tight shoulders, so wish me luck. If you're still watching at this point, I truly, truly appreciate you. Truly, truly. And I hope that I've been able to provide a little bit of value to you and make your day just a little bit better, hopefully. But thanks again. See ya.